Tu B'Shvat, our holiday for trees, was one of the 4 new years in the Hebrew calendar according to the first Mishnah of Tractate Rosh Hashanah. Of the 4, only the month of Nisan is actually mentioned as such in the Torah, marking the exodus from Egypt. The Mishnah, however, refers to the first of Nisan as the beginning of the pilgrim holiday season and as the date for recording the years in the reign of the ruling monarch. Our familiar Rosh Hashanah in the month of Tishrei is described as the Day of Judgment, the time to account for our deeds over the previous year. The other 2 New Years, in Elul for counting domestic animals born, and in Shvat for counting produce of trees, were for the purpose of tithing agricultural products, their times coinciding with the agricultural cycles in the land of Israel. Today, Tu B'Shvat is observed by eating dried fruit, planting trees in Israel, and through the custom of holding a Seder Tu B'Shvat that is spread to Jewish communities around the world. But the original purpose, counting what we produce from the land, is still very relevant today. Thousands of years ago, the agricultural revolution supplanted natural selection as the principal driver of biological change on Earth. It was followed by the metallurgic revolution and the forging of tools and weapons that had launched ancient empires and the spread of civilization. Over the past 2 centuries, the Industrial Revolution accelerated the conquest of nature, bringing with it profound economic and demographic changes. And along the way we changed, most of us stopped accounting for our use of natural resources, and as a result, we lost track of their value. Western consumerism is the ultimate, dare I use the word, alienation from nature. What we eat, wear, and use are processed and accounted for long before we've had any contact with them. Bal Tashrit is a principle of Jewish law that prohibits wasting useful things, and it's based on the Torah's commandment in Deuteronomy prohibiting the destruction of fruit trees in war. The Torah enjoins soldiers not to cut down fruit trees in battle. And why? For as a man like a tree of the field to lay siege against you, the Torah enjoined armies to put aside the destructive impulse driving them in war in order to prevent its cruelest result, famine. Some contemporary scholars of Jewish law claim that Bal Tashrit should in our time be extended to include the preservation of all natural resources, incorporating sustainability into halacha. While engaged in the day-to-day of producing and consuming goods, we're required to think about the resources we use. They do not belong to us alone. Our liberal political beliefs, bolstered by digital technology in the 21st century, are driving a rapid globalization that values individual autonomy and choice above all. But this new world, towards which we are moving quickly, also holds out some serious risks to our well-being. We're by nature social beings. It's the connection and obligation to the group that enabled our ancestors to evolve. Homer likened our lives to leaves that bud, grow, wither, and die, while the leaves of the forest live on. Our ancient sage Hillel made the same point with the rhetorical question, and if I'm only for myself, what am I? Thus our sages offered up a unified message that for me resonates in this era of globalization and the challenges it poses both to human nature and to natural resources, telling us to stop 4 times a year, to count our days and seasons, account for our deeds towards one another, and count the animals we've bred and the fruit of the trees we've cultivated for our own purposes. If we all learn to account for ourselves and for our use of the earth's resources, the great blessings of well-being and sustainability will follow. In addition to the sages and Darwin, I want to acknowledge and recommend the writings of contemporary teachers and friends that helped inform the views expressed above. Dr. Jeremy Benstein, Professor Alon Tal, Professor Leon Kass, Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, and Rabbi Arthur Green. Shavua Tov and happy Tu B'Shvat from Schechter.